Ahí hay una señora que lleva 1 hora haciendo esto.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Today we're looking at some scary videos that are starting to spook the internet. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more freaky content. Just like this. Our first clip of the day was uploaded to the Instagram account Unanswered Universe. It's some security footage taken from some kind of factory in an unknown location. Take a look at what happens. Out of nowhere, the woman's head slams down onto the table. It looks like it's forced down by some kind of unseen presence. The woman is clearly startled as she runs to be comforted by a nearby employee. Some commenters said that the woman might have fallen asleep, but others think it looks far too forceful. Unfortunately, this is one of those clips with almost no info attached to it, so we can't dig any deeper. So I'll throw this one out to you, the viewers. What do you think's going on here? Share your theories in the comments down below. This next clip, uploaded to Twitter by Sidio Paranormal, isn't supernatural at all, but it shows just how strong the phenomenon of pareidolia can be. Take a look. As this group flicks their car's lights on and off, you can make out what looks like an eerie face on the trunk of the tree.
Media cara, güey. Es media cara nada más, güey. Sus orejitas, güey.
This is almost certainly a case of pareidolia. Pareidolia is the tendency for people to see faces in everyday objects. It's a type of perceptual illusion, which means that what we see is not really there. Faces are one of the most common things that we can see in pareidolia, but other objects like animals, letters, and words can also be perceived. Pareidolia occurs because our brains are wired to recognize faces. We're constantly looking for them in our environment, so it's not surprising that we sometimes see them when they're not really there. This ability to see faces has evolutionary advantages. It helped our ancestors to survive by allowing them to quickly identify friends and foes. So next time you wake up in the middle of the night and think you see a shadowy face staring back at you from the closet, don't worry, it's probably just an illusion. Or is it? This next creepy photo was sent to us by one of our viewers, Carol Botha. Carol says that this unsettling photo hangs on the wall of her friend's childhood home. It was already on the wall when their parents bought the home decades ago, and they've just left it there ever since. In the photo, you can see a horse standing at attention. In the background, you can see that there's actually a shadow of a person sitting on the horse. What's even more unsettling is that the homeowner says that quite often as many as 100 flies will sit on the frame of this picture. You can even see a fly in the top left-hand corner of this photo. Many paranormal experts believe that whenever a specific place or object attracts a swarm of flies, it could mean there is a curse or demonic presence nearby. For centuries, the symbolism of the fly has been associated with death and pestilence. For example, in Mesopotamian mythology, Nergal is the god of death. He's closely linked to suffering and disaster and is often depicted as a swarm of flies. Christians later associated Nergal with a demonic presence. So what's going on with this photo then? Why does the shadow depict a rider? And why do hundreds of flies often cling to its frame? It seems the more you stare at this image, the more unsettling it becomes. This photo was sent to us by one of our viewers, Emily Rigby. Emily says she recently took a series of selfies with her sister at their house. However, in one of them, they noticed an eerie detail they can't quite explain. See if you can spot anything off. On the TV, which was off at the time, there appears to be a reflection of a face. Looks like an older woman staring into the room. Emily says that her nan had recently passed away and that it bears a striking resemblance to her. She also says that her sister and her nan had a particularly strong bond. So, could this reflection be their nan trying to make contact from the beyond? Take another look and decide for yourself. The Battle of Shiloh was one of the first major battles of the American Civil War. Fought in early April of 1862, the battle was bloody and resulted in a Union victory. Over 23,000 men were killed or wounded in the fighting, making it one of the deadliest battles in American history. The Union Army ultimately emerged victorious, but at a heavy cost. As the soldiers lay maimed on the battlefield, their wounds left open and raw to the elements, something strange began to happen. Written accounts of the battle's aftermath describe an almost miraculous occurrence. Many of the soldiers' wounds began to glow in the dark. Confederate military surgeon James Dinwiddie witnessed firsthand the mysterious glowing wounds. He noted that the soldiers whose wounds began to luminesce were faring better than those that didn't. Word quickly spread around the battlefield and the phenomenon became known as the Angel's Glow. The Battle of Shiloh was named after a small church that stood on a nearby grassy hill. The name Shiloh translates to heavenly peace. Piecing these two things together, soldiers began to think that something miraculous was happening and that they were being blessed by divine forces. Dr. Dinwiddie took a great interest in the bizarre glowing effect and began to study why it was that some soldiers had a greater chance of survival than others. It would later be discovered that the gleaming effect was caused by bioluminescent bacteria known as Photohabdus luminescens. The bacteria produced antibiotics which staved off infection in those soldiers affected by the Angel's Glow. This is one of the earliest recorded encounters with the profound effects of antibiotics. Of course, antibiotics wouldn't formally be brought to light until 1928 when Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin. So it would seem the Angel's Glow has a scientific explanation, but I'm sure those who witnessed the glowing wounds firsthand, well before the popularization of germ theory, would have believed that a miracle was taking place that day on the battlefield. This bizarre sighting was uploaded to the YouTube channel Paseo Infinito. This footage was captured by a homeowner who noticed that his neighbor was doing something strange on their back porch. Take a look at what he saw. The woman appears to be swaying quickly back and forth. The creepy thing is, the homeowner says his neighbor had been doing this weird motion for hours and hours. He first noticed her at 6 AM. It's not known what the woman was actually doing, but the fact that she had been spotted moving back and forth for hours certainly makes this sighting unnerving. Before we take a look at some eerie photos that were sent to us by a viewer, remember to hit that subscribe button, then tickle that little bell icon there and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll be in the loop every time we drop our scary, mysterious videos. In September 2022, one of our viewers, Abby Lynn Bouchard, was taking some snaps of their recently tidied crafts room. However, as they reviewed the photos, they couldn't help but notice an eerie detail. In the window, there appears to be a dark figure. On closer inspection, it almost looks like a hooded spectre with a skeletal face peering in through the window. The uploader clarified that it couldn't be someone looking in through the window because this room is on the second floor of the house. While this figure could be dismissed as perhaps an odd reflection or a shadow, it's Abby's past that makes this photo a little more eerie. When Abby was young, her family moved into an old mill house in South Carolina. Up until then, her childhood had been quite normal. However, once the family moved into this particular house, things began to change. The family began to notice strange things happening in the house. Inexplicable banging sounds could be heard, as well as creaking footsteps late at night. Cupboards would mysteriously open by themselves and locked doors would somehow be found ajar. Even fire alarms would be routinely set off despite no smoke or fire. Over the years, the family moved house time and time again, as many as 7 times, and with each move, the family believed something paranormal was following them. This photo was taken as the family gathered for Thanksgiving in 2012. In the background, there's a strange misty figure standing in the kitchen. While at first it looks like a mirror hanging on the wall, it's actually an opening that connects the 2 rooms. However, Abby has no way of explaining the strange misty figure in the other room. So could something paranormal have attached itself to Abby's family all those years ago? How do you explain the strange events and figures that have been caught on film? Is it just pareidolia, or is there more to it? Share your opinions on this one in the comments down below.
Now, if you can't get enough of the old slapped ham, then don't worry, we've got you covered. Check out that creepy video on the top there. Otherwise, we have an enormous paranormal playlist there that'll keep you entertained well into the evening, we promise. Now, remember to leave us a comment down below and hit that thumbs up button. And that's it from me. I'll see you all next time.